a region that traditionally leans towards Russia. And people there have been demonstrating their loyalties. Yesterday, men entered the Parliament building by force and hoisted the Russian flag. Today, pro-Russian militia took over the two main airports in Sevastopol and Simferopol. Russian jet planes have been patrolling the border area. And this morning, Russian helicopters flew through Ukrainian airspace to join the blockade of Belbek airfield. Viktor Yanukovych has reportedly been staying at Barvika Resort in Moscow. Today, he made his first public appearance in Rostov-on-Don. Our correspondent Alex Rossi is in Crimea and sent this report.
These images of what appear to be Russian helicopter gunships are yet another challenge to the authority of the new government in Kiev. They were spotted flying low and fast towards a military base near Sevastopol. Just a few hours earlier, these unidentified gunmen took control of the main airports. They looked like well-trained soldiers. And whilst their assault rifles were unloaded, their machine guns were primed for action. They didn't respond when asked if they'd been sent by Moscow.
Russia? Russia? Where are you from?
With no insignia on the uniforms, it's impossible to tell who they are and who is giving them orders. The presence of the armed groups is fanning the separatist ambitions which have long been held in this region. Crimea was given to Ukraine by the Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev in 1954.
There seems to be a political rally being held here every day. It is an incredibly febrile atmosphere in favour, of course, of breaking away from Kiev. And if the unidentified gunmen who took control of the airports and the regional parliament behind me were Russian, it shows just how easy it would be for Moscow to stage a takeover. Certainly the new government in Kiev believes it was an invasion and an occupation.
The disgraced president, Viktor Yanukovych, is also vowing not to give up on Ukraine. At this press conference in Russia, he proclaimed himself as the nation's legitimate president.
It's time for me to say that I have all intentions to fight for the future of Ukraine against those who trying to use fear and terror in order to get the power. And I decided to say that. Nobody ousted me. I had to leave Ukraine under the threat to my life and to the life of my family.
Russia is denying violating Ukrainian sovereignty, but many people here feel the presence of these unidentified troops is a strong message from the Kremlin about the power and influence of its reach. Alex Rossi, Sky News, Simferopol.
Well, in the last hour, the White House has again warned Russia not to intervene.
We call on Russia to respect its international obligations made under the UN Charter, to refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. We urge all parties to avoid steps that could be misinterpreted or lead to a miscalculation at this delicate time.
Let's cross live now to the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, and talk to Sky's Katie Stallard. Katie, it's not just the White House, is it? Also Angela Merkel and David Cameron tonight urging restraint from Russia. What might Russia's next step be?
Well, some more developments actually in the last few minutes here, just to tell you about the Simferopol International Airport in Crimea has reportedly stopped accepting flights from Kiev, from here in the capital. There is no further information or detail on that, just that very short information that flights from here in Kiev are no longer being allowed into Simferopol International Airport. But also a TV station down there, Crimea TV, their editor-in-chief has just claimed that armed men have taken control of their building, so that the Crimea TV, a local TV station on the Crimean Peninsula. Simultaneously, we're also hearing from UKR, which is the Ukrainian telecoms network. They say that they are currently unable to reach their unit in the Crimea. Again, no further information, but these very short lines coming out tonight. And as you heard there from the White House, repeated urgencies for Russia not to intervene, and Jay Carney reiterating again that in their view any form of intervention in Ukraine by Russia would be, in his words, a very grave mistake.
So, Katie, what have we learned today from the events of what President Putin's thinking actually is?
Well, I think you have to firstly understand his perspective. I mean, here it is being presented as an act of aggression. The acting president had said that any troop movement outside the Black Sea Fleet base by Russia would be interpreted as an act of military aggression, and they are painting it in those terms. They are talking about this as an armed invasion and an occupation. From Russia's point of view, from the Kremlin's perspective, they would say that they are merely acting to enable themselves to defend their strategic interests, firstly in terms of their naval base in the region, and secondly the interests of their citizens. Crimea is majority Russian citizen population, and Russia's view on this, Russia's rhetoric, is that what's happened here in Kiev is not legitimate, that it is extremist, that it's armed gangs who have overthrown the government. So they maintain that they are merely retaining a position in which they can protect their assets. So in other words, what they are doing, they would insist, is not aggressive. They would say they're merely defensive positioning.
Katie Stadler, thank you.